Hello, welcome along, Nigel with you again, Nigel's Modelling Bench. And here we are with part 9 now of this British Infantry Tank Mark 1 A11 type Matilda 1 in 1/35 scale from Gecko Models. You can get this kit as I did from Tiger Hobbies, and it is basically £29.99. It's an absolute bargain for what it is. The amount of hours you get, for your 30 quid is incredible. And also you can get 10% off if you use the code NMB10, and also if you spend over £30 you get free postage. So if you're going to buy yourself one of these, get yourself a couple of bottles of paint or something as well to take it just over the £30, then you get free postage. Otherwise you get the kit for like 27 quid and then you spend £3.50 on postage. So I think it's about that. So there you go. So yeah, part 9, we've done a lot of work on this one. We've built up the hull. I'm changing the build sequence a lot, as you will know if you've been following along, because during the build they ask you to put on lots of flimsy little bits and pieces like lights here and tools and everything that will just get broken off. They would be sort of sitting out here on bits of photo etch and stuff. So my decision was to go on and get all the suspension work done, and we'll get the tracks made up because they're Lincoln length, and then we can then fill our boots and do everything detailed because we don't need to do any more heavy work as it was. But if you saw me doing the suspension in part 8, you'll know that quite a lot of handling and manipulation was going on, which would have definitely caused damage to some flimsy parts. So what I'm doing now is looking at the tracks, and basically we've got, this is called Lincoln length. So you've got lengths of plastic track. You can see the top one here has the sag sort of moulded in. Let's get the light on now that we're not using instructions anymore. We've got the sag moulded on the top, so basically that is going to sit that way round. That is basically going to sit on there like that. So you can see you get this natural sag in your track, which is really nice. So there we go. Make sure the track's the right way around. Take a note of, when you actually look at the track, you've got this end which has got the two nubbins sticking out, and then you've got this end which has got the waiting to receive the two nubbins. That at the top goes to the rear, and obviously as you come around underneath it goes to the front. So these two nubbins on the top go forward, and then we've got our little bits and pieces over here, like bits of track, and then we've got our individual track links here which I've taken off the sprues and cleaned up. Be very careful because I think I've got the right number. I've counted them out and I think you've got exactly the right number of these individual links. There are no spares, so be careful not to lose any. Okay, then you're probably going to see a lot of pauses in here because I'm coming down with a cold again, I think, and as I've mentioned before, and it's turning into like a tickly cough, which is really annoying. Anyway, let's get pressing on. So to do Lincoln length tracks, there's lots of different ways to do them. Some people lay them on tape and then tape them on. I like to do this. I've just got a couple of rules here. Sellotape or masking taped onto another steel rule. And I've got 10 links in there because you can see we've got 10 links here, 10 links there, going onto this shorter piece, 2 links, and that's it. Now I'm going to leave this joint here unglued because I'm going to see if I can actually peel it off at that point. Because over there's going to be a mudguard and it will cover up any glue marks when we do actually finally glue it into position. So what I'm going to do is come along with these 10 links here, and I'm going to take some Tamiya extra thin. I'm not going to use the quick setting. I'm going to use ordinary extra thin. Okay, and I'm just going to brush some down here. I don't want to flood it because if you flood it, the capillary action will take it through into the underside, which doesn't really matter if you're going to weather your tank anyway, but okay, so we can just leave that for a couple of minutes in there just to sort of gel off. And what I tend to do is get another rule and just push down on the sides to make sure it's all level and flat and everything. Okay, so that's gone like that, and there's no glue come through because I can see they're moving easily. Alright, now the next thing to do, we've got this BE11 which is going to go on here. Now this is the front, so I've actually got this the wrong way round as you're looking at it now, so that shouldn't have happened. It's very difficult to pick up. Actually, it's not so difficult now that it's all one piece. So that's going to go in there, and then we've got this BE11 which is going to go onto here, so it's going to go this way round. So that's going to slot into there and go onto there like that. Okay, and I'm going to put a drop of extra thin in there just to hold that together. And then we've got two little single links, and they're going to go one there, and they're just going to push onto there like that. Okay, it's absolutely critical, guys, that you get all your sprue gates and everything cleaned up properly on these, because if you don't, the links won't go together properly and you'll end up with gaps in your track that look horrible. Get some cement into there. Just going to give these a little push together. There we go. And then that will in turn join onto the bottom piece here. But that's enough for now. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take this off like this. Grab the tag. Now this is going to be difficult to do on camera, because I would normally do it flat down on the bench. What I want to do is get this up on here, so that is going to sit on top of those return rollers there. I know there's going to be people going, man, they're not return rollers, they're such and such. Yeah, right. So I'm going to hold that one there, and then I'm going to push this track into it and just roll it around. You can see now why I used extra thin, the normal stuff and not the quick setting. Okay. And I think we've got one link too many on there, because this straight piece that goes along the bottom, come here, I have no fingernails. This straight piece that goes along the bottom sort of comes to the lower tangent of the... Okay, no it doesn't. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do is put this in here, like this. We've got ages to work with, that's why we use the extra thin, not the quick setting. So I'm going to hold that in there, put that in there, and then cement that on there. The reason I'm doing everything in the jig is because if I do it on the model, it may well glue itself to the wheel. I want to be able to remove the track for painting. I want to paint the track separately. So I'm just going to hold that like that, let that gel off, tip that sideways, there we go. Okay, we'll let that gel off. I haven't left it long enough. Just push it together. Okay, and then we're going to put this on here. And normally you see I would do this on the flat on the bench, but I can't. Oh bloody hell! The reason I've not glued those wheels on is because I want to get them to conform when the track is on, and then we'll glue them. Okay, so that's gone like that. Remember, we can have a bit of sag coming off the bottom of that idler. Alright, and then I'm going to put this on. This bloody thing won't stand up, will it? Oh, this is the problem with filming, guys. It's a pain sometimes. Right. Now the track won't stay on there. I'm going to do this off camera. Basically, I'm going to glue this onto there, okay? I can't do it on camera, it's impossible. Okay, so there we are. You get the idea now. We've got the track coming around the idler, sitting on the return rollers there. And there you can see the track there. So I'm just going to leave that to gel off, not completely dry. We'll still be able to twist it about a bit, but we can basically get on and get another 10 lots in here, and perhaps get those over the back. But I'm not going to glue anything yet, because obviously we want to make sure that's all correct, and make sure this is all right. And then once it's done, we can wrap some tape around it to hold it in place, and then just leave it for a couple of hours to dry. Okay, we're back. It's the next day now, and I have to be honest with you, this nearly went out the window about 10 times. You saw me do most of one track on camera just now, and it went swimmingly well. when it came to do the other side, absolute utter nightmare. Anybody walking past my house might have thought I was beating someone up. Absolutely losing it. It was almost like it wouldn't glue together. It was like I was trying to use extra thin to glue resin or something, and it just kept falling to bits, and I tape it back together. Oh, and then today I thought, just had 24 hours. I took this track off this side, which is the second one. I did this side yesterday. Well, I did both of them yesterday, but I did this one on camera, and it fell apart again. It broke here, and it broke here, and it broke here. Absolutely crazy. So anyway, the sprockets on the wheels aren't glued in. They're just in there loose. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Rather than have this broken link up here, what I'm going to do is put the sprockets in. I have to say it's quite a poor design. I kind of wish they'd just made this one here one track length longer, so that it hooked on there. I mean, it would have had a datum then, but there's nowhere to sort of start, and it's all just flopping around. And they could have given us a jig, perhaps. I don't know, like a tackum type thing. But it's been an absolute utter nightmare. So I've gone around these now all round with some extra thin. I've also I'm one track link shorter than they suggest. They suggest 2 single links here at the back, at the bottom. I've only put one in there because it just had too much sag. It's kind of one of those, I wish it had some adjustment in it, but it doesn't. It's kind of, one extra link just gives it so much sag, and it just doesn't look right. So I decided to have them fairly taut. Now if I need to, if it's too tight, all I need to do is drill out the hole in the back of the idler wheel and have them loose and glue them on when we put it all together. But we shall see. So as I say, I've got it all glued together, and it's going well. That there needs sort of a little bit of reprofiling, but this side has been an absolute and utter nightmare. So the other way, of course, you could do it is to glue it to the wheels and then just take everything off together. The next thing we need to do is get something flat. So I'm going to use my acrylic board here, which I could have used before, couldn't I? And put this on here. So that's nice and flat. We're going to make sure that all our wheels are correctly connected, because they keep falling off and coming loose and all that. What I'm going to do is just put a drop of extra thin on each of these pivots. I'm not gluing the wheels. I still want the wheels to turn so that I can paint it easily. Oh, that pin there looks like it might have popped out. No, okay. And all I'm doing is putting a drop of extra thin quick setting on the actual pivot point, not the axle. So drop of cement in there, drop in there, drop in there, and a drop in there. Let's make sure we got some in there, because we need to make sure they stick, because they have a tendency to pop out. So we'll push that down, make sure it's all gone down nice and level. Okay, and they can stay like that, and then we can turn it around, and we can do the same on this side. Drop of cement in there, same on all of them here, and that way, this is where I left them pivoting, because now we can guarantee that all the wheels will sit on the ground. Just give them a nudge down. Okay, so there we go. So we'll leave that for a few hours to dry, and then we can try our tracks on there again. Thing is, we don't really want them to break. One tip I can give you, something that I've learned from many years ago: you get all your oil-based washers and everything. Don't use them on these these link and length tracks, because what happens is those washers will attack the cement and your tracks will fall apart. Ask me how I know. Funnily enough, I found out on my Tamiya Matilda, which I built. So, is it Matilda Mark 4, I think? This is a Matilda Mark 1. So, yeah, so, what you can do is thin some paint, some enamel paint with lighter fuel if you want to make a wash, because you can paint that on then and it won't attack the glue joints. But basically we can leave that to dry and come back to it in a couple of hours. Excuse my dirty nails. I've been working on my Fiat again on my Fiat 131 channel. Go take a look. You might you might enjoy it. And I'll be back soon. And we're back. So here you are. You can see the tracks are finally on, and they've managed to stay together. So what I've done here is actually got them so that you take the wheels off. And so basically, to take them off, all we do is just literally just edge that wheel off of there. He says, I'm going to break them again, aren't I? I just want to pull that wheel off of there like that. That's it. Let that wheel fall free. Okay, and then we can hold the back of the tank and remove the sprocket. I think what I'll do is drill these holes out a bit, actually make it easier fit, because it's sort of likely to, you know, when you pull something and it suddenly goes. And then the tracks are all in one piece. We can still take the sprocket out. So we can paint the tracks, we can paint the wheels, paint everything separately, and then just literally put it all back together again. So to put it back together again, we will just put the sprocket in there. We'll roll it along to engage its teeth, like so. And then pick the tank up, which is going to be really difficult when it's got all its little bits and pieces on it. We can pop that into there like that, and then we can take this wheel, get it into over the horns like so, bring the horns up in the middle of the road wheels, and then just bring that over. So there's something's not right here, something's not right, something's not correct, it doesn't feel right. This went a lot easier the first time I did it. Is it because these upper horns aren't engaged? Could be. There we go. As you can see, it's very tricky. You can guarantee that when they're all painted up and everything, it'll all fall apart. But there we go. So that's one way of getting around those tracks. As I said before, the other way to do it is to glue the tracks to the wheels and then paint it all. But there we are. So we can take all that apart to paint it, and now we can get all the little bits and pieces on and go from there. Unfortunately, as you can see, working on my Fiat, I've cut my thumb again. The last time was there. This time it's there. So I'm not going to tell you how I did it, because you'll probably faint. Some of you will faint. But it was quite painful, I can tell you. So yeah, I'm going to put this down until, give this a couple of days to heal up, and then I can get back on it. So I don't know what I'm going to do in the meantime, maybe a couple of reviews or something. But I will see you all soon for, what is it, part 10. This is part 9, isn't it? But we got there in the end. But I tell you what, that has been 4 days, I think. And it's been a nightmare. And actually, when we actually come to fit these tracks, we're going to have to glue them on. In fact, it could do with go around a little bit. There we go. So yeah, there we go. Alright, so thank you for watching. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.